Once upon a time, in the ancient and wise book, a new story begins, a tale full of lessons and wonders for those who listen. In a quiet corner of rural France, a young girl labored by the hearth, her hands worn but her heart gentle. Her father, hopeful for happiness, remarried a widow proud and cold, and invited her two vain daughters into his home. The girl found herself cast into soot and chores, while her stepmother's harsh words echoed through the halls. Her stepsisters, dressed in finery, mocked her humble life, yet she bore their cruelty with a quiet dignity. Each night she climbed into a sparse attic room, moonlight her only companion, still dreaming of something more. One morning, a golden scroll arrived, an invitation to a royal ball, and excitement filled the household. The stepsisters selected gowns of silk and satin, their laughter ringing with vanity, while the girl's hope flickered in silence. Left behind, she sat by the hearth, ashes around her, yet she dared to dream of grandeur and kindness. Under the twilight sky, she met friends among the mice, gentle and curious, as the world outside prepared for magic. In the pumpkin patch under the moon, a single pumpkin glowed, waiting for enchantment to unfold. A fairy godmother appeared in shimmering light, offering transformation, not just of appearance, but of hope. Before her eyes, the pumpkin became a golden carriage, and humble mice became proud steeds. Magic took shape. Clad in a gown of jewels and slippers of glass, she stepped into the carriage, trembling with wonder and hope. Through forest paths under lantern glow, the carriage rolled, as the girl gazed at a world opening wide before her. The palace stood before her, grand and daunting. She climbed its steps, heart full of quiet courage. Inside the ballroom, all eyes turned. She entered shyly, and in that moment beauty and kindness became one. The prince welcomed her with a bow. In his eyes, she saw not only a princess to be, but a friend to his heart. The stepsisters watched with envy, their hearts hardened by ambition, unaware of what true grace looked like. As midnight approached, the girl's joy turned to urgency, for magic fades when time strikes its hour. She fled the palace in haste, leaving behind a single glass slipper as the clock's bells announced the end. The prince, resolved, held the slipper high and proclaimed a quest. The maiden to whom it belonged would be his bride. The stepsisters struggled in vain to force the shoe upon their feet, their hearts still unchanged. At the cottage door, the prince's entourage arrived. The girl watched from the hearth, silent but hopeful. The stepmother barred her entry, but the prince insisted all girls must have a chance, even one in rags. Emerging humbly, the girl sat before the prince. He greeted her not with pity, but with respect. The glass slipper slipped onto her foot as though made for her, and joy filled the prince's eyes. The stepsisters fell at her feet, asking forgiveness. The girl rose, offered kindness, and forgave with her heart. In a grand chapel bathed in candlelight, the girl and prince exchanged vows, kindness, courage, and love. The banquet celebrated more than royalty. It celebrated a heart transformed, a life renewed by kindness. The girl, now princess, helped those who once scorned her. Her greatness lay not in power, but in compassion. In the morning dew of palace gardens, she walked with the prince, the world soft and full of promise. At twilight, the castle glowed, and in the reflection of a fountain, she saw not a servant's past, but a hopeful future. In the library, she read to children, sharing stories not just of magic, but of patience, hope, and forgiveness. She planted a young tree in the garden, a symbol of her new life rooted in goodness and love. Late at night, she gazed at the glass slipper in its velvet case, remembering the journey that led her here. The stepmother and stepsisters lived in the palace too, humbled by their past, embraced by her mercy. In the courtyard, her father, older now, looked at her with pride. She thanked him for love that never failed. Riding through the village, the princess and prince waved to their neighbors. Kindness reached every corner of the land. Beneath the starlit sky, the princess stood on a balcony, the castle behind her, her heart ready for what comes next. And so the carriage left the palace gates into the new dawn. A new chapter had begun, guided by hope and love. And so this tale comes to an end, but its wisdom and lessons remain, shining as a light to guide us in life.